It was around 10:30 p.m. on a Thursday night. I had just moved into a small rental house in a quiet neighborhood. I remember that day clearly, because I had finally unpacked the last box, and for the first time in weeks, I felt like I could breathe. Was sitting on the couch, watching some mindless TV to relax. My phone was charging in the kitchen, and the only light on was the one from the living room lamp. Everything felt calm. Too calm, maybe. That kind of silence you only notice once. You're alone. Then there was a knock, not a bang or a pounding, just a soft, deliberate knock. 3 of them. Knock, knock, knock. I froze. It wasn't loud, but something about it felt off. I hadn't ordered anything, wasn't expecting anyone, and all my neighbors were strangers. I muted the TV and waited. Maybe I imagined it. Maybe it was something falling outside. Wind, maybe? Then I heard it again. Knock, knock, knock. This time, it was slightly louder. I stood up slowly and walked to the door. I didn't open it, just peeked through the peephole. There was a man standing there, mid-40s maybe, wearing a gray hoodie with the hood up, head tilted down, hands in his jacket pockets. I couldn't see his face, not really. Just the outline. He didn't move. He wasn't looking around like someone lost or confused. Just standing still. Waiting. I didn't say anything. Just kept watching. My heart was thudding in my chest. Hard enough I could hear it in my ears. After a few seconds he spoke. "Sarah," he said. Calm. Like he knew me. "My name is Sarah." I didn't recognize the voice. He didn't say anything else. Just stood there, waiting. I backed away from the door. Slowly. Quietly. I grabbed my phone. From the kitchen. No messages. No missed calls. I dialed 911 with my thumb hovering, just in case. I went back to the door. The man was still there. Still not moving. Then I heard him speak again, louder this time. "Sarah, open the door." Still calm. Still steady. I didn't respond. I didn't breathe. I was terrified that if I made a sound, he'd know I was right there, just inches away. Then, he leaned closer, pressing his head lightly against the door, like he was listening. "You're there. I know you are. I saw your light on." I turned off the lamp. Darkness swallowed the room instantly. Only the faint blue glow of the TV screen remained. I dropped to the floor and crawled backward until I reached the hallway. That's when I heard the doorknob rattle. Not violently. Just a quiet, testing jiggle. Like he was checking if I'd forgotten to lock it. I hadn't. I sat there in the hallway, back pressed against the wall, clutching my phone. I texted my brother. He lived about 20 minutes away. "Me. There's a man at my door. He knows my name. Please come now." No reply. Another knock. Still 3 times. Still steady. Then silence. Waited 5 minutes. Then 10. I crawled to the front window and peeked out from behind the curtain. He was gone. I stayed awake the whole night, jumping at every sound. My brother showed up after midnight. He had been asleep and missed the text. He stayed with me. Until morning. The police came the next day. Took a statement. Said it was probably someone from around the neighborhood who heard my name and was playing a prank or trying to scare me. But here's the thing that still bothers me. I hadn't introduced myself to a single neighbor. Not one. And my name isn't on the mailbox. Not on the door. Not even on the lease taped inside the window. There was no way he should have known who I was. I installed cameras the next day. Floodlights, too. But sometimes, late at night, I still think I hear those same 3 knocks. I was traveling alone for work and stayed at a small motel off a quiet highway. It wasn't fancy, just the usual kind with a row of doors facing the parking lot. I had checked in late, around 11 p.m., and was glad to finally get to my room after a long day. The room was plain but clean. I locked the door behind me and closed the curtains. The TV was small and old, but I didn't want to watch. I just wanted to rest. After about an hour, I was lying on the bed scrolling through my phone when I heard a soft sound outside. It was like a shuffle, or maybe someone walking slowly down the hallway. I thought maybe it was another guest or the cleaning staff. I looked at the clock. It was 12:15 a.m. The hallway outside my door was dimly lit with yellow lights. I sat up and listened. The footsteps stopped right in front of my door. Then, there was a pause. I held my breath. I didn't hear the usual noise of a key or anything trying to open the door, but it felt like someone was standing there, waiting. After a moment, I heard a soft tap on the door. Tap, tap. I didn't answer. I didn't move. Then, the tapping started again, slower this time, like someone was knocking. Knock. Knock. I didn't want to open. I wasn't sure if I should call the motel office or the police, but my phone was on the bed, and my hands were shaking. Then a voice whispered through the door. "Hey, can you help me?" It was a man's voice, low and soft. Not angry or loud, but calm, like someone trying not to scare me. I swallowed hard. The voice didn't sound threatening, but my gut told me something was wrong. "I'm sorry," I said, quietly. "I can't." I didn't hear a response at first. Then the tapping came back. Tap, tap. After a few seconds, the voice spoke again. "I just need to use your phone, please." I didn't answer. I was terrified. What if he was dangerous? What if he was trying to trick me? Suddenly, I heard footsteps moving away down the hallway. I looked through the peephole. There was a man. Not young, maybe in his 30s or 40s. He wore a black jacket and a baseball cap pulled down low. His face was mostly in shadow, but I could see his eyes. They were watching my door carefully. He stopped at the end of the hallway, looking back at me. Then he started walking again, slowly until he disappeared around the corner. I waited a few minutes before unlocking the door just a crack and peeking out. The hallway was empty, no sign of him. I locked the door again, my heart pounding. I called the motel front desk and told them about the man. They said they would send someone to check around. I stayed awake the whole night, listening for sounds. Every little noise made me jump. The next morning, I told the motel manager about what happened. He looked worried and said a few guests had reported seeing a strange man walking around the halls late at night, but no one had ever called the police. Said the man seemed harmless and left before anyone could confront him. That day, I checked out early. Before I left, I looked around the parking lot and the motel grounds. I saw a man standing near a car watching me. It was the same man from last night. He smiled, just a small, quick smile. I didn't smile back. I got in my car and left fast. To this day, I don't know who he was or what he wanted. All I know is, I never want to feel that quiet knock on a door again. I moved into my first apartment alone when I was 22. It was a small place on the second floor of an old building in the city. The kind of place where you hear everything through the thin walls. Footsteps, voices, music. I didn't mind. I liked the energy. The first week was normal. I unpacked, met a few neighbors in passing, and settled in. One neighbor caught my attention. He lived right next door. He was quiet, always keeping to himself. I never saw him outside, and whenever I said hi in the hallway, he just nodded. About 2 weeks after I moved in, something started feeling wrong. It was late, around 11 p.m. I was reading on the couch when I heard a soft tapping on the wall. Tap, Tap. Tap. At first, I thought it was just the building settling or maybe someone upstairs walking around. But then the tapping got louder and more deliberate. Tap, tap, tap. I pressed my ear to the wall. It was a slow, steady rhythm, like someone was trying to get my attention. I knocked back softly. Knock, knock. The tapping stopped. I thought maybe it was a coincidence. But then it started again the next night. Same time, same tapping. I was starting to feel uneasy. The sound was so strange and out of place. I kept my phone close, ready to call the building manager if it got worse. Then one night, the tapping was followed by a whisper. I froze. The voice was barely audible. "Hey, are you there?" My heart jumped. I didn't answer. The whisper came again, louder this time. "Please, talk to me." I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I tried to tell myself it was my imagination, maybe someone else in the building. But the tapping and whispering continued every night. I stopped answering the door. I stopped opening the curtains. One night, I looked through the peephole and saw my neighbor standing outside my door. He was looking down at the floor. I unlocked the door a crack and asked, "Can I help you?" He looked up. His eyes were tired, almost sad. "I'm sorry for bothering you," he said softly. "I just wanted to say hi. I've been lonely." I felt bad, but I also felt scared. I told him I was busy and closed the door. The next night, I found a note slipped under my door. It said, "I'm here. You don't have to be afraid." I didn't reply. The tapping kept coming. The whispers too. I stopped sleeping well. I felt watched. One night, I woke up to footsteps outside my door. Slow, careful steps. I grabbed my phone and called 911. When the police arrived, the man was gone. They checked the building but found nothing unusual. I asked the manager if anyone had seen my neighbor. He said the man hadn't been seen in weeks, but I knew otherwise. Sometimes I still hear tapping on the walls late at night. And sometimes, I swear I hear a soft whisper calling my name. It was a normal Friday night. I finished work late and was tired. The city was busy, but I was glad to get home. I live alone in a small apartment on the edge of town. Usually the walk from the bus stop to my place takes about 10 minutes. That night, I got off the bus around 11 p.m. The streets were mostly empty, just a few cars passing by. I had my headphones on and was listening to music to help me relax. As I walked, I noticed someone behind me. At first, I thought it was just another person heading home. But when I turned around, there was no one. I shrugged it off and kept walking. A few minutes later, I heard footsteps again. They were soft but steady. Closer this time. I stopped and looked back. A man was there, about 50 feet behind me. He was wearing a dark jacket and a hat that hid most of his face. I felt a chill run down my spine. I quickened my pace. The man matched my speed. My heart started beating faster. I didn't want to panic, but I was scared. I knew the neighborhood well, and it was usually safe. But this felt different. I tried to think. Maybe he was just going the same way. But something about him felt wrong. His steps were too quiet, too careful, like he was watching me. I pulled my phone out and pretended to call someone, holding it close to my ear. He slowed down. I turned a corner quickly, hoping he wouldn't follow. But when I glanced back, he was still there, following me. I decided to cross the street and take a longer route. I didn't want to go straight home if he was watching. I walked fast, looking for a place to go inside. Maybe a store that was open or a cafe. But it was late. Everything was closed. My apartment building was just ahead. I reached my door and fumbled with my keys. hands shaking. He was closer now. I felt his eyes on me. Finally, I unlocked the door and rushed inside, slamming it shut behind me. I locked every lock I had. I pressed my back against the door and took deep breaths. My phone buzzed. It was a message from a friend checking if I was okay. I texted back quickly, "I'm home safe," but someone was following me. I looked out the peephole. The hallway was empty. I waited a few minutes. No footsteps. I wanted to believe he had left. But then I heard a faint tapping on my front door. Tap, tap, tap. I didn't move. The tapping stopped. I waited again. After a while, I heard footsteps walking away. I was too scared to sleep. I stayed awake all night, listening. In the morning, I told my neighbor what happened. He said a man had been seen lurking around the building recently. The police came and checked, but they never found the man. Since that night, I always carry my phone out, even on short walks. I never know when someone might be watching. Sometimes, when I'm alone at night, I still hear tapping at the door, and I wonder if he's still out there, waiting. It was a late night, and I was driving home after visiting my family. The road was empty, and my car was almost out of gas. I decided to stop at the only gas station for miles. The place was small, with bright lights and a tiny convenience store. The gas pumps were old, and the air smelled like gasoline mixed with something stale. I parked and got out to fill the tank. While I was pumping gas, I noticed a man standing near the store's entrance. He wasn't wearing a jacket even though it was cold, and he looked tired and dirty. He watched me without saying anything. I felt a little uncomfortable, but told myself to stay calm. After a minute, he walked toward me. "Hey," he said, his voice low. "Hi," I replied, trying to sound friendly. "Can you help me? My car broke down, and I need to use a phone." I hesitated. The gas station had a payphone by the store, but it wasn't working. "I'm sorry," I said. "I don't have a phone, but there's a payphone inside. Maybe it works." He nodded and started walking toward the store. I finished pumping gas and went inside to pay. The store was almost empty except for the clerk, a young woman who looked tired. I told her about the man outside. She frowned. "He's been hanging around here all night," she said. "I don't think he's up to anything good." I felt a cold knot in my stomach. I paid and stepped outside. The man was gone. I looked around the empty parking lot. No sign of him. I got in my car, locked the doors, and started driving. The road was dark, and I felt like someone was following me. I checked the rearview mirror several times. Nothing. I relaxed a little. Then, up ahead, I saw headlights behind me. They were close. I tried to speed up. The car stayed right behind me. I felt trapped. I didn't want to stop. I took a few turns, hoping to lose them. But the car followed every move. My phone battery was low, and I couldn't call for help. I was scared. Finally, I reached a well-lit highway rest stop. I pulled in quickly. The car behind me stopped too. I locked my doors and watched. A man stepped out. It was the same man from the gas station. He looked tired but smiled. "Hey, don't be scared," he said. "I'm just lost. Can you help me?" I wanted to say no, but I felt bad. I rolled down my window just a little. "I don't know this area well," I said. He nodded. "Maybe you can come with me." "I need to find my way." I shook my head. "I'm sorry, I can't." He looked sad. Then, without warning, he took a step closer. I locked the window quickly. "Please," he whispered. I started the car and drove off as fast as I could. My hands were shaking the whole time. I didn't look back. When I got home, I told my family what happened. They said I did the right thing, but I couldn't stop thinking about that man. Who was he? What did he want? And was he still out there waiting for someone to stop at that lonely gas station?